From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 32 of Fans Talk Lucha. It's a little podcast we do about Lucha Underground, and before we begin, we want to remind you that all of these episodes that we do are fully supported by community members just like you, and you can join us right now over in the Squared Circle of Trust to get access to exclusive content, early access to content just like this, and, you know, just to have a good time with the rest of the community in our Slack channel by going to fanstalklucha.com, clicking the big green button, and pledging your support today. All right, so before we begin, yes, we are about a week and a half late from when this was supposed to go. Schedule conflicts and whatnot. So we weren't able to put the show together. Instead, this week, what we're going to be doing is combining episode 2 and 3 of season 2 of Lucha Underground into today's review. So it should be fun. My name is Garvin, and with us, as always, is my wife. Say hello, wife.
Hello.
Okay. Now, quick interjection before we get started, because we have read some comments on the YouTube channel and elsewhere, and it seems like there's some confusion about what this podcast is. This is not your regular wrestling podcast where you've got two wrestling fans talking about wrestling, talking about what they're seeing on TV. Instead, this is one wrestling fan, myself, and my wife, who does not watch wrestling except for Lucha Underground, does not necessarily understand the subtleties of wrestling.
I don't know anything about wrestling, but I do know that I like big guys and little shorts.
Yeah, so the commentary from that side is not always, you know, your generic wrestling fan opinion. It's quite different.
My commentary is awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Episode 2 of Season 2 of Lucha Underground. We started off with Puma working out backstage, because that's what they do. They work out backstage.
They never help each other spot. They always just interrupt each other.
Yeah. Well,
it's bad gym etiquette.
Yeah, you would think. Well, no one's like doing, you know, the beam, whatever that thing is, where it's like the barbell thing. What is that called?
Bench press?
Bench press. No one's doing that. They're all doing like the hand weight thing.
I would like to remind you that he is the wrestling fan who knows what he's talking about.
Hey, I know wrestling. I don't know working out.
That's obvious.
All right, so Puma's working out backstage, and Pentagon comes in, thanks him for helping him take out meal, and really setting the statement, and says that tonight they're going to partner up, but, you know, it's a one-time thing, that he's not forgetting that he is going to get the title, whether Puma's standing there or not. So that was that. They had some fighting. They scuffled a bit. First match, Johnny Mundo back in the Temple versus Killshot. What'd you think about this match?
Well, when I first saw Johnny Mundo come out to the music, I thought, oh, it's Tommy Wiseau. And then I realized that much like Kane and Undertaker, you don't ever see Tommy Wiseau and Johnny Mundo at the same place at the same time.
Well, you don't really ever see Tommy Wiseau.
Do you think that he might be moonlighting as Johnny Mundo?
No.
Tommy Mundo.
Although they do have similar body types.
And hairstyles.
I agree. I don't think Tommy Wiseau would be able to move around as well. The other thing is Mundo talks like a semi-normal, competent person. Tommy Wiseau does not.
It's called acting.
Yes, you say that, but we both saw The Room and know how Tommy Wiseau acts.
We saw he had some sweet moves. I don't know why you think he can't also be a parkour master, just like his alter ego.
Regardless, Johnny Mundo versus Killshot. I thought Killshot looked pretty good. You know, it's weird. We've seen Killshot in a handful of matches. And by the way, this is going to be a common theme of something that I note about a few different people. But, you know, we really hadn't seen what all they can do. And I really felt like this was a good showing of Killshot in the ring.
Oh, yeah. He looked like a dancer in the ring. He's so lanky and so graceful. I enjoyed it. I like watching him wrestle. I've always liked him, and this was a great match for him.
Yeah, Mundo looked like Mundo, standard Mundo match.
I'm not really a Mundo fan.
No, me neither. And it's starting to grate on me just how. And this is this is like his complaint. This is the complaint against Johnny Mundo, and it's just it feels staged. It feels like this is the moves that he's going to do, and everything is very slow, and it's choreographed.
Boring.
You know,
I just think he's a little boring to watch, especially compared to some of the other wrestlers.
Yeah. So it looks pretty, but it's just not a good fighting style, I don't think. But anyways, nut shot. That was a heel move. How come you're not complaining about the nut shot?
I expected it.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I was waiting for it.
But that's what happened. Mundo got the win because of that. Afterwards, he called out Mil Muertes and says that he's coming for the title. Cage comes out. The man they call Cage, the Machine, the Swolverine.
Okay, what does swole mean?
Okay, swole means it's short for swollen.
That doesn't sound like something I would want to call myself.
Yeah, but the thing is that it means like he's totally like built and ripped, and basically he's the cool hip thing now is to go to the gym and get swole because he's like they're pumping iron.
Last time I was swole is because I fell down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, you did it wrong. But you should have stood up and said, "I'm swole."
Is a Swolverine a type of machine?
Yes.
Because can he be two things?
He can be two things. Machines can be as many things as they need to be. You've seen Transformers. They could be cars. They could be walking dudes.
No, I didn't watch Transformers.
Oh.
That show's horrifying.
But we saw him on the mic. I thought it was probably his best promo.
He did a good job.
Yeah, basically just calling out Johnny Mundo, calling out Mil, and basically putting his name out there as far as a title contender. And I really like just the title race that they're building. You've got Puma and Pentagon Jr. You've got Cage. You've got Johnny Mundo, and sure, some of those names are names that we saw before, last season. But it's still good to see that they're progressing and still wanting that title.
Everything about me wants to hate Cage, but I like him.
I know. It's because you actually do like robots.
No, I will never like robots. Except for Bender.
All right, so we got a few video packages up next. Sexy Star is still imprisoned by Marty the Moth, and by far the best put together video series that we've seen so far as Marty and Sexy Star together.
Oh, he's hilarious. I love him.
Fantastic character. Fantastic. Just the way he talks, the way he laughs. It's awesome.
I've been watching too much American Horror Story recently, and he could be in something like that. Like, he's absurdly creepy in them, and it's wonderful. I really like him.
Yeah. Now, I was kind of confused by this segment because of what he said versus what we saw. And basically, he scared Sexy Star by giving her what he said was a butterfly. It was a moth, for sure, right? Like, why wouldn't it have been a moth?
Well, he's a sociopath, not a lepidopterist.
But his name is Marty the Moth. It looked like a moth, though. It didn't look like a butterfly.
His world is moths, so everything to him.
But he said it was a butterfly. Now, I know he was putting in some, analogy type stuff in there. Basically saying that, Sexy Star is basically in her cocoon phase, and she's going to blossom into a butterfly, return back to the temple.
I really hope that this involves like a forced dress-up montage scene where he's putting her in like creepy moth and butterfly costumes, and that's where he could be going with this.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea.
They could be playing Madonna's Material Girl in the background, and the sister could come out, and she could be like a stylist.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting, though? It's like they're not doing anything to hurt Sexy Star. I mean, they're just annoying her by not allowing her to leave.
That's called kidnapping, honey.
Yeah. Sure, but it's not like they're actively hurting her. It doesn't look like they're starving her. It's weird. And the way they're talking is like they are doing this for her to make her a better wrestler, I would imagine, and that they're going to go to the temple with her as like her managers.
Did you feel this way when it was Dario locking up what's-her-face with his psychotic brother and saying it was to, turn her over to his side and make her a fantastic wrestler?
No, because I didn't understand what the point of her was, her being Black Lotus. So I think it was a different scenario. Like now I see that Cueto is helping her, or maybe, I don't know.
It was the same situation. There was a kidnapping. There was a sibling we never saw.
But I learned to be more acceptant of those type of scenarios.
Oh my God.
That's what we learn here at Lucha Underground. All right, so let's move on from that. We also are going to get a debut of a new wrestler named the Darewolf, PJ Black.
No.
Another motorcycle guy who rides with other motorcycle guys, and it seems like they're together, but then, they're not. They're fighting with knives and stuff.
No, I hated this video package. I did not know what was going on. They kept showing a wolf and then dudes on motorcycles, and I thought, are they going to get attacked by wolves? But then I think you were supposed to think the guy on the motorcycle was a wolf. Wolves don't have thumbs. Wolves can't ride motorcycles.
Well, he's the Darewolf, not a standard wolf.
No.
You know what a werewolf is? Werewolf is like he's a dude that has wolf qualities. He's got thumbs.
I don't approve of this gimmick.
Okay. Well, we did see his debut, Mac versus PJ Black. What'd you think about the match?
He was awfully smiley in it.
The Mac, you mean?
No.
Oh yeah, PJ was too, I guess. They were both kind of smiley.
I like watching Mac wrestle because he makes some great faces in the ring. Also, he is sneakily light on his feet. He'll kind of lumber around and then pow, he'll do a handspring or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, Mac, where'd that come from?
Well, yeah, he did like the kip up and then standing moonsault. He's great.
But I just love watching his face in the ring too. He's very expressive. And the other guy, he smiled a lot. It was okay. Yeah. I wasn't too impressed.
The finish was PJ Black diving off of the top rope only to get hit with a stunner. I liked it. I'm not sure if I like the idea that Mac is still using the stunner. I hope that's not like his thing now, is to be, to be basically the new Shark Boy, in that he's taking Stone Cold's gimmick and using it as his own. I hope that's not what they're alluding to, like we saw in his last match in season 1, because I don't want that. But PJ Black lost in his first match. That was kind of odd.
Is that unusual?
Well, not necessarily, but just where, like, for them to give him the video package, to build him up, and then to have him lose, I thought was strange. Mostly because at the same time that I'm watching PJ Black, I'm thinking to myself, Jack Evans is better.
Well, it wasn't a very good video package, and I don't think he did very good in the match, so, yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I look at him versus some of the other roster they have. Jack Evans is the one guy that comes to mind. Very similar styles. We didn't really see it in this match with PJ Black, but those who, have seen him in TNA and Global Force, he does have like that kind of cockiness to him. So,
well, keep in mind, everyone can't start at the top. If all the wrestlers came out super strong, they would have nowhere to go but down. Maybe they're going to build him up.
And I'm not objecting to that idea. What I'm saying though is that I'm not seeing him set himself apart. I see him as another guy just like Jack Evans, and we already have Jack Evans, and Jack Evans is very good. So what is the point of PJ Black, I guess, is what I'm getting to. He didn't really show anything spectacular in this match, not compared to the rest of the roster. So I felt kind of disappointed with it. Okay, so we saw another video package. We're going to get a new female masked wrestler named Cobra Moon. We'll talk a little bit about her in a few minutes because she did debut in the next episode. Spoilers. Main event, Disciples of Death versus Puma and Pentagon Jr. Thoughts?
I like that while they've differentiated the Disciples with different colored masks, they're still Katrina's puppets, and they don't really... If they have names, I'm not aware of them.
Matt Stryker did say some names. I think it was mostly color oriented. So I did hear Negro. I did hear Azul. But I didn't catch the rest of it. I didn't catch what the rest of the name was. So I think they do.
I kind of like that, though. I like that they took characters that started out pretty cheesy with the, they were wearing the long johns with the Halloween costume skeleton bones painted on them and the stupid graphic lightning bolts, and they actually turned them into characters. I thought that is a little Pinocchio, Like they were stupid puppet skeletons and then they became real wrestlers.
Real boys. Real skeletons.
And they do a good job of all three of them being in the ring, but without being too distracting. I don't have a hard time following their matches.
Just like I said with Killshot, we never really got a chance to see what they could do in the ring because there was always something else going on. With Killshot, he had the Mac with him. He had whatever that other guy's name was. I don't even remember now. Was there? Oh, the big dude. The big, tall Ezekiel Jackson, whatever his name was.
The guy with the eye patch?
The eye patch dude, yeah.
Big Rick.
Big Rick, here we go. So yeah, he was like just the guy on the side. So we really didn't get to see what he could do. He showed it this week, but then the same thing can be said about the Disciples of Death. I thought, overall, we really hadn't seen what they can do as wrestlers because of how they were used. Like they didn't really get a good solid match against Team Fight in the title match for the Trios Championship. Because the main story was like you had Ivelisse on the outside with a broken leg. You had, I think that was one of the matches where Angelico flew from the top of Cueto's office. So there was other things that were always kind of overshadowing what they were doing. This match, though, I thought they looked great. This is definitely like the best match to showcase what the three of them can do. But as far as what it went to, the goal right now, it seems, is that Mill is trying to get rid of people. He's trying to get rid of Pentagon Jr., trying to get rid of Puma. Failed because Puma and Pentagon Jr. won the match. Both seemingly laid claim to, Mill and a title shot. They argued back and forth throughout the entire match and then again ended up in a fight at the end. So,
Mill and Katrina, and this is going to segue into my fail of the week. I'm not sold on them as managers. They don't seem to have a good sense of control. They're petty. Mill pretty much just sits there looking bored the whole time.
Well, he's not a manager. He's like the king.
He's a manager.
He just sits there.
And my fail of the week is the lack of Dario Cueto. He was the best manager in the world. You would think that he was losing control, but secretly that's what he wanted the whole time. He really motivated his people. He got the right people promoted. Mill and Katrina they're operating like they don't know what they're doing.
I will agree with you on Katrina. I don't know how you're merging Mill into this role as manager when
just because they keep bringing him up. She keeps bringing him up. Like she keeps saying, no one can beat Mill, but really,
well, he's the champion.
She's kind of wearing the pants in the situation.
She is his manager or valet or whatever you want to call her.
She clearly wears the pants, but
yes.
She defers to him because, for show. I don't know why. Katrina, you could do better.
Well, here's what I'll say. I agree with you on Katrina in that she comes off very strong, talks very strong, compelling. Her character is very compelling, but as far as action, being able to control the Disciples of Death and instill power into them with that rock, weak. There's nothing there.
Classic trash talker.
Yeah. So I will agree that it's not, it's not as it should be, as far as Katrina goes. She should be able to back up the talk with some action, and we haven't really seen
something about manipulation from Dario Cueto.
All right. So that was, we had one more thing from this episode. Back in a video package, the new Dragon Azteca is being talked to by a guy who said that he was supposed to be Dragon Azteca but decided not to go that route and instead go a different route and choose a different mask, Rey Mysterio.
Hurrah!
Rey Mysterio in Lucha Underground heavily involved in the story, you'd have to imagine. So that's pretty cool. He's not just coming out as a wrestler, but he's coming out as more of a story, story-based character at start, which is good. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm happy for that.
All right, so that was episode 1. No, I'm sorry. Technically, it was episode 1 of what we're talking about today, but it was season 2, episode 2. Let's skip the official win fail and all that stuff, and let's just go into episode 3. We started off with the Mighty Bengala versus Cobra Moon. Cobra Moon's this is her debut. We've seen Bengala before. Overall thoughts?
I liked it. Cobra Moon was super theatrical in the ring. Just the way she was moving, and it was a good, solid match. I thought they were well matched together, and it was a good debut. I enjoyed it.
In ring, out of the ring, very theatrical. In that she played the character well. She slithered down the steps. She basically slithered around throughout the ring. It was just nice to see. Nice to see her playing into that.
She stayed in character the whole time, even when they were wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see guys like Bengala cleaning their paws or,
I've never seen
roaring.
him clean his paws. You could do more of that.
He needs to get into the character. So definitely that appealed to me.
Batting around a ball of string.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if someone brought a ball of string and
like if people threw cat toys into the ring.
And then you just see Bengala run across the ring.
See him rolling around in catnip on his back. Getting tummy rubs.
Yeah. Bengala, I've never been totally impressed by him, so this was kind of a throwaway match. But his flying headbutts, I thought, were pretty
that was
stellar.
great. Yeah. He was kind of Tiger-esque doing that.
Yeah, just the way he thrusted his head into them or her as he flew. I thought it was just neat.
Bazinga.
Yeah. So, Cobra Moon. Finisher, Dragon Sleeper. I thought that was a good finisher. Included the body scissors. So, yeah, snake-like. Cobras, though, don't do that, though. So, I don't know. On one hand, I like it because it is kind of snake-like, the way she, went around him. But a cobra... Unless my snake, memory is wrong, cobras pounce, right? They stand up straight and then they shoot forward with their fangs.
I think you're taking this a little literally.
I'm just saying that if her finisher was something that involved strangling, and removing the air from his body, she should have been called the anaconda or, the boa constrictor.
Well, her cobra headdress did come off before she got into the ring, so I think at that point she just became a symbol of evil, as our announcers kept reminding us, because snakes are evil.
Yeah, but I will say, while I do like the character, while I do think her in-ring movements were cool, definitely nowhere near the level of ability of Sexy Star or Evilise.
I don't think we know that yet. I think it's early days.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
it was definitely a character introduction, not a see how awesome I am at fighting.
Yeah, you can't necessarily. That's what they did with Sexy Star. I mean,
different character.
True.
She came out as a fighter, someone who was standing up against abuse. Yeah. So her character was different.
So I wasn't totally impressed with her wrestling, but the character, I thought she did very well. Backstage, Katrina talks with Phoenix, who wants Cuerno. She mocks him, but says okay, basically, is what that came down to. Video package, here we go. Got some backstory on the man we know as Aerostar, basically a millennia ago. And I'm going to use this term, and I don't know if this is appropriate.
Is it a racist term?
Potentially, but I don't know. He basically talked to the natives. Would that be considered Aboriginal, or is that only an Australian thing? Because they're not Native Americans, they're
Native Mexicans.
Native Mexicans, is that proper? Is that a proper phrase? Okay. So anyways, talked to some Native Mexicans back in the day, and yeah.
Then he went into space. I was super confused by this.
Yeah, not only does he fly, not only is he a rocket, but he's also a time traveler.
He's way more of a machine than Cage.
Now, there's a little piece of information that I want you to retain. And that's what we're talking about right here, because I'm going to bring it up again in the main event, in the next match, because something was said by Vampiro that I feel like we really need to call him out on. So we'll get to that in a second. Backstage, Cuerno is working out, of course, and Katrina criticizes him for not taking out Phoenix. Sure, he took the title off of him. Sure, he wounded the animal, but he did not take out the animal. What kind of hunter is Cuerno? Which led us into our next match, Jack Evans versus Drago. Thoughts on the match?
I was happy to see Drago come back, but I was a little disappointed that it wasn't more theatrical, because when he left in a hail of sparks and fire, and it was very cool. Didn't he?
That was Aerostar. Aerostar shooting up the ground.
No.
Hail of fireworks.
Last season.
Yeah.
When Drago left the building, he walked into another part of the warehouse.
It was more smoke and flame, not fireworks. The firework thing was Aerostar when he was
know what
going
I'm
up.
saying, though. He left in such dramatic dragon situation.
Doing dragon stuff.
Yeah. And when he came back, he just walked down some stairs like, oh, I'm back from vacation.
Yeah.
Like you kind of expected to see him in a Hawaiian shirt, new tattoo or something. I thought the entrance could have been a little more fun.
I agree, but as long as we're not like actively doing something with him, I'm okay with it. Like if there was like a story thing involvement, then I think that it would have been more appropriate, but because he's just, in a match this week, I think it just worked out. It
was a good match. Yeah. Jack Evans did a really nice job.
Jack Evans looked pretty good.
I don't always like him, but I like him today.
A little bit more aggressive this time. He's cocky. He is kind of weaselly at times. That's what we've seen in the past. But this time, a lot more aggressive, a lot more strikes to the face. It just seemed like he was a little bit more angry. And after the match, he announced himself as the Dragon Slayer.
Pretty cocky.
So, but I think this would have been my fail of the week, but I think I need to say it now. During this match, Vampiro was talking up Jack Evans, how great Jack Evans is, and Jack Evans is an innovator, and that he is Lucha Libre. That is something that Jack Evans said. So he's defending Jack Evans in that statement. But as he's doing it, he talks about the guys that Jack Evans came before. And one of those guys was Aerostar. Like, did we not just see a video package that said Aerostar is a time traveler? Vampiro?
Get your shit together.
Get it together. Tejano's coming back. We had a little video package with Tejano. He was on the ranch riding horses, chopping wood, along with us getting reminded of what he did in the ring. And then he whipped a bunch of stuff with his rope.
So this is weird. So he's in a bar drinking, and then there's a fight. And then the bartender, instead of shooting them or calling the cops, hands him a rope and is like, go fight some more, dude. I don't know what kind of bars you guys have been kicked out of.
Yeah, I mean...
But anytime I've been in a bar and things have gotten wrong, everyone's out on the street. They don't hand you a rope and say, go to it.
It was an interesting scenario. Like, he definitely had an in there because that was his rope, by the way. So he must have given it to the bartender, like, here, hold this until I need it.
Like, hold my purse.
Yeah. And then the fighting starts and he gets the rope. So it's like... I
don't know how I feel about Tejano. I mean, he's pretty. I can admire him from that standpoint. But I've never really been that amused by him in the ring.
Well...
The rope thing is so gimmicky to me.
I don't think he's ever, like, told jokes or...
it's not
been
even
out
that.
there
I think I'm just tired of the rope thing. It's like Chavo in his chair.
Well, and speaking of that, he did mention, he did remind us that Chavo uses chairs, and yeah. So, who would win? I mean, this is. I just watched this MythBusters episode the other day.
Rope v chair. Who would win?
Well, here's the thing. It was I think it was from this current season, and they were retesting a myth that they did years ago, where it was in a zombie attack, who would win, the guy with the axe or the guy with the gun? And it surprisingly was the guy with the axe.
Well, guns run out of bullets. You have to be a certain number of feet away to be accurate.
Yeah. Well, the axe, you'd have to be pretty close to do it. and you have to hit with a... Well, anyways, chair versus rope. This is that myth.
I would say rope. You have a longer reach. You could hit someone in the ankles. Chair, too. A lot of effort's required to swing that chair. There's a lot of wind resistance on it. It's got a broad back. It's flat.
The other thing about the rope is it is versatile. So, you could get behind your opponent and use it to, choke him out or put it around his legs and sweep him.
Use it to block the chair if you were strong enough. You could hold it in front of you really tight, and you could hope that the chair would bounce off it if you had enough strength. Yeah,
and if we learned anything from video games, the chair breaks after the third hit, so the rope I don't think would ever break.
Yeah, those folding chairs are pretty flimsy. I know I've sat down in a few and just gone right through them, so... I imagine you hit someone over the head.
Heavy D.
Yeah, no, I have.
All right, so backstage, Puma is standing in the bathroom. This is the other scene that we see a lot in Lucha Underground. Either they're working out or they're standing in the bathroom. But Katrina walks up and, basically says that next week he's going to face off against Pentagon Jr. So look forward to that. Main event, Phoenix versus King Cuerno in a last luchador standing match. What'd you think about this match?
It did not go where I thought it would. They've been talking up Cuerno so much, I was pretty confident when Cuerno started climbing that ladder that we were going to see the end of Phoenix. The goal of this match was to knock your opponent out, was to finish them so that they couldn't hear the 10 count and then they would lose. So I thought that Cuerno was going to smash Phoenix and that would be that, but I was totally wrong.
I don't know if I assumed that Cuerno was going to win. A good story... Well, let me rephrase. I always seem to like the stories when it's back and forth. When you've got, the bad guy getting one over the good guy and then the good guy getting the one over on the bad guy. When it's always like the good guy losing or the bad guy losing, that gets kind of boring. So I didn't see Cuerno getting a second win over Phoenix. And plus, this is so early on in the season, to take Phoenix out twice in a row, I think would have weakened, what we think of Phoenix. So, yeah. I think overall, I like that Phoenix won.
That was a painful loss for Cuerno, though.
So, let's talk about this. And I don't even want to go back and watch or hear, but basically,
he sets up a table and then climbs a ladder, and then Phoenix knocks the ladder over. Classic Looney Tunes right there.
Yeah, but it was such a sickening thud of Cuerno not just going through the table, but landing so hard on the ground with the ladder falling on him at the same time.
Those, if you've ever climbed one of those aluminum ladders, they're rickety and they slide against each other and make that horrible grinding noise.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I know that's part of what we were hearing.
I'm sure, but just the thud of him hitting the ground and there was no bounce.
And that horrible ladder.
It was just a solid hit, and he just stayed there. It was crazy.
Yeah, how do you even train for something like that?
Yeah, so major props for Cuerno for taking it.
Yeah, he took one for the team.
It looked good. Overall, it was a good match. I thought it was very good.
Cuerno's looking really buff lately. They're really beefing him up for something. I don't know if you've noticed, but it looks like he's packed on a lot of muscle.
Yeah. I will say that I much prefer the deer head hat to the cowboy hat. I wish he would just do the deer head hat at all times.
Oh, he looks ridiculous in a cowboy hat. He should never wear a cowboy hat. And I hate to say that I prefer the deer head because he looks like a weird chess piece in that deer head, but it's still better than the cowboy hat.
Yeah. The episode ended with another video package this time, and I don't know if I have this guy's name right because it was the crew, and I tried to forget all about the crew. I think it was Cortez.
I don't know. I can't tell them apart.
Apparently, Cortez has been working with some kind of police group. Maybe it is the Boyle Heights Police Department.
You mean the Pollo Heights Police Department?
Or, I don't know. Because they had that weird security badge thing that I don't think that's a normal cop
No, that's standard.
thing.
We have those in our office. Justice
you don't,
Center has them too.
But you don't work at the police department.
Justice Center has them too.
It just seemed kind of odd. It seemed reminiscent to me of when Vampiro was in the psych ward.
Oh, well, it could have been a private security agent.
Yeah. So, but anyways, Cortez apparently is working with them and is trying to get Cueto. So
yeah, they mentioned they know all about how Cueto got his brother to murder Bale. They confirmed that Bale died at the hands of Cueto's brother.
But they don't care. It doesn't seem like the person in charge cared much about that. Street Thug was more interested in getting her hands on Cueto.
Can't wait to see what Cueto does to her because he is awesome.
Yeah. But, of course, Cortez, being a member of the crew, cannot do anything properly. She gives him a new partner, and that new partner is Joey Ryan. I can't wait. I think this is going to be awesome. So they didn't state who the guy was. Those who are aware of Joey Ryan obviously knew that this was Joey Ryan. I still feel like you're lost on how awesome this role is for him.
No. I'm glad you showed me his finisher in whatever previous wrestling thing he'd done, because I think that the penis grab finisher that he has is going to go really well with Neil and Katrina wanting ultra-violence in the ring. I think that that's going to be a nice touch if he is allowed to use that move.
So, yeah, if you are not aware, I think he debuted this move in Japan, and, yeah, someone grabbed his crotch, like his opponent grabbed his crotch, and like the Mercy game that wrestlers play, he basically
he won it with his dick.
Yeah, he straight up won it with his dick.
Hilarious.
And that's my win of the week. Joey Ryan. He won this week's he won the win of the week with his dick.
I like the Moth video package.
That was technically last episode, but I agree that was also very good.
Yeah.
Fails. What was the worst part of the last two episodes? So episode 2 and 3.
Lack of Cueto. And the possibility that a member from the crew is going to be back on Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I agree with the Cueto remark. That was going to be a second note that I made at the top of the third episode. But my top note is that I missed the house bands.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why haven't we seen the house bands anymore? That was awesome. I mean, they weren't always very good, but it was still like different and nice. So,
and live music is always preferable to some horrible canned, heavily edited intro.
Yeah. All right. So that is your Lucha Underground review for season 2, episode 2 and 3. This is Fans Talk Lucha. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to hear more, go to fanstalklucha.com. And again, remember, we need your help to basically put on these episodes. The paying for hosting, producing this content, as well as distributing the content, it does cost us a pretty penny. And any bit that you can do to help would greatly be appreciated. You can pledge as little as $1 a month starting now over at fanstalklucha.com. There's a big green button there. Hit that button. It'll take you over to our Patreon page. You can also reach the Patreon page through squaredcircleoftrust.com. You get access to exclusive content as well as early access to content just like this, as well as access to our Slack channel, where we do some live chats for WWE pay-per-views. There's a live chat for Lucha Underground every week. So yeah, definitely, if you enjoy what we're doing and you want to see us continue, send $1 or $2 our way every month. That's it. We'll talk to you later. Adios.